Major cities in Japan are busy places. Lots of people coming and going, especially at a popular tourist spot like Skytree. As is bound to happen, you get hungry and want a bite to eat. Then you notice a situation like this. Some perfectly respectable bags occupying the table that you'd like to sit at. As you hunt around for a free spot, you start to notice a trend. An umbrella hanging out all by itself, unattended baby strollers, lonely handbags, a stray jacket, an abandoned bag, this forgotten suitcase and camera. What's to stop hungry shoppers like this from snatching up a coveted spot? Anything, literally anything, left on the chair or table. So I decided to take my daughter and a GoPro to the mall to see what would happen if I left our belongings to save a seat. What did we leave? A purse, a smartphone, and a bag full of newly bought goods. After noticing that cameras were all over the place, I decided that the best disguise for a secret camera recording was to do it in plain sight, so I staged the table with all sorts of camera gear. Okay, so it's not exactly a super secret spy camera setup, but I think you'll get the point. I love how while recording, someone decided to leave their belongings to save their table. My daughter Aiko's biggest opposition to this whole experiment is that we'd be occupying extra seats that others could use. She didn't seem to have much concern that our belongings might actually get stolen, and I concur. We were being quite rude, so I apologize to anyone looking for a table during that time. We recorded a whole hour before I decided to call the whole thing off, because the most likely scenario was that the cleaning staff would notice our unattended goods and put it in the lost and found. So Aiko and I packed up our belongings and headed to Starbucks, because it's not like we hadn't sat around enough. While there, the trend of seats being saved by valuables continued. Shopping bags, backpacks, purses, fanny packs even, making a comeback I see. I also noticed that there were many people working on their laptops. Thus began experiment number 2. What would happen if I left my MacBook Pro to save my spot? I'll save you the suspense, absolutely nothing. 25 minutes into this grueling experiment, we called it quits. Who knew sitting in front of a sunny window would get so hot? This spy thing can be quite tough. Moral of the story, if you're a thief looking for some easy pickings, Japan's the place to be. Or is it? Apparently, the Japanese police have more patience than Aiko or I. In an effort to net themselves a thief, they left a case of beer in the seat of an unlocked car. After a whole week of carefully staking out the spot, they finally caught themselves a criminal. My only major issue in Japan with leaving my belongings behind is that I forget to retrieve them. There was that time when I left my backpack on the train. Then the other time where I did it again. In both cases, the train staff had my goods found within an hour. I must say though, that there was this one time where I went to ride my bike and discovered it was missing. I thought to myself that I was finally getting my comeuppance for leaving my stuff laying around. As it happens, it turns out I left my bike parked and unlocked in front of the kids' school and had forgotten to ride it back home. I know this because as I was telling the story of my lost bike to my wife, Aiko chimed in to say that she had seen it in front of her school over the past couple of days. She said the bike even had a notice on it to move it within a day or it would be impounded. Did Aiko think to tell her father this before? No. So I went to the bike jail and sure enough, my bike was there. That lapse in attentiveness cost me 3,000 yen. So far, that's the only price I've ever paid for leaving my valuables around. That and the train tickets I had to buy to go and retrieve my backpack, twice, from the train station's lost and found depot. The lesson here, folks, is that by all means, leave your valuables to save your spot in Japan. In fact, I think the more valuable, the better. That's why I always leave my kids to save mine. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye! How do you save your spot where you're from?